Hello, I'm Jonathan Gibbs, and the short story I love, that I think you will too, is Heavy Weather by Helen Simpson. I first read this in the Granta Best of Young British Novelists #2 in 1993 when I was 21 years old, and it wasn't the story that I was expecting to love from that collection. It is domestic, bourgeois, literary realism, but it struck me then and it's stuck with me ever since. The story's about a young couple, Jonathan and Frances, who are on holiday in Dorset with their 2 young children. And mostly the story is about the awfulness of this stage of parenthood, the drudgery, the shit, the vomit, the endless mundane repetition, the almost total loss of self. It is very funny. And there's a moment that I always love, which is when Jonathan returns from doing an errand in the village and quotes a little bit of Thomas Hardy to Frances, and she is appalled at his subterfuge. "You've been reading," she says. "When did you find time to read?" And he says, "Just 5 minutes. I pulled over in a lay-by and I just read for 5 minutes." And I think the story, when I first read it, I took as a sort of premonition of what these aspects of adulthood and parenthood and marriage would be like. And it's true, I have been on that holiday. I've had that row. I've had those children. The horror is real. But Simpson ends the story on a blissful, elegiac note, and I love how she does it. The writing is deft and precise all the way through, but she knows precisely when to let the register lift, and the poetic imagery shines down on the family on the beach like some kind of blessing at the end of the story. Simpson's too clever just to leave us with that. There's one point in the story where Frances says, "What a cheesy business English literature is. All these old men peddling us lies about life and love." And this story is just as cheesy and just as manipulative and just as clever as anything Thomas Hardy wrote. It is essentially propaganda for procreation and literature, and it never fails to bring me close to tears when I read it, and it never fails to make me marvel at Helen Simpson's writing.